This week's YouTube video is brought to you by Prose. More about them later.
As a former esthetician, I am really impressed with some of the ingredients in Prose. Hello, and welcome to my new bathroom. In this week's video, it's going to be a little bit of a chatty video, a get ready with me video, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about some of the things I've been thinking about while moving and what got us up to this point of moving. So if you missed my last two vlogs or even my last 3 YouTube videos, we have moved. We, for the past 2 years, have been in the process of building a new home, which is this home that we are now residing in. Now, unlike some other social media people, we chose not to share the whole process online. We kept it very private, but now that we are here in a new house, the secret is kind of out, so I can share with you what brought us to this point. So let me jump in and start doing my skincare because yeah, this is a get ready with me video. So I already took a shower and I already got dressed, put my deodorant on, the whole 9 yards, and I already did my hair. I use a curl cream, a curl gel, and a mousse, and I plop it in a microfiber towel, and then I go in and do my skincare and my makeup before I diffuse my hair. So I already washed my skin for the day, and I used the Prose Custom Cleanser, and this has some amino acids in it, caviar lime, and it is going to help my skin just be nice and clean and to make sure that I don't have any breakouts. I really enjoy how this comes in a nice glass bottle, and it's very aesthetically pleasing. I find myself leaving it out on the counter just because it just looks nice in the new bathroom. So since I already did this in the shower, I'm going to go in with my serum. So this is my custom serum from Prose. It has hyaluronic acid as well as longevity mushroom, and it's gonna help with moisturizing, firmness, and fighting signs of aging. But because this has hyaluronic acid in it, I'm going to kind of dampen my face a little bit because hyaluronic acid holds its weight 1,000 times in water, and if you put it on bare dry skin, it's gonna pull the water or the moisture from your skin. So you wanna have a little bit of moisture on your face already. So what I do is I kind of just dampen my hands and tap my face all over like that, just to get a fine little layer of moisture before I go in with anything that has hyaluronic acid in it. So I'm just going to use a couple of drops and then just spread that evenly all over my skin. And when you have a good skincare routine, when you do your makeup, you almost don't need any primers or prep work or any prep makeup products because your skincare routine should be doing that for you. Okay, so back to talking about our new house. So it was in the fall of 2022 that me and Jack, my husband, we were driving. We were going to a park that is not too far away from where we live now, and I had noticed on my Zillow app, because I am a 30-year-old millennial who always likes to be nosy and look on Zillow, that I got a notification that a plot of land that I had saved in the past on some dirt road in the middle of nowhere had gone down in price. So I mentioned it to Jack as we were driving, and I said, hey, we're coming up on a road, there's a plot of land down there, it's X amount of acres, they just lowered it in price. And I didn't think anything of it because I'll say stuff like that to Jack all the time. I'll be like, oh, that house is for sale, oh, that house, you know, just sold, and he just is like, ignores me because that's just how I am. So, but he surprised me by turning on the blinker, and we pulled down the road, and he said, hey, pull up the map, show me where this plot of land is. So we pulled down the road, he pulled over on the side of the road once we found where the plot of land was, and he got out and marched off into the woods because it was nothing but trees here at the time, and he started looking around. I didn't get out of the car because we had Gabriel, and Gabriel wasn't even walking yet. And we had Layla because we were going for a family walk. So I wasn't saying anything when Jack got out of the car and he just marched off into the woods. He came back, got back in the car, we turned around and we went for our walk. And we started talking about it. And we started talking about how nice of a plot of land it was, how it was in the area that we would like to live one day, how it was very quiet, it was very safe, there was no traffic, there was no other people around. And at that point I said, hey, do you want me to text our real estate agent, see if she can pull some information about the land? And he said, yeah. So I sent a quick text message to our real estate agent, Jean, and she got right back to us and let us know that the property had been owned by the same family since the 1960s. They had planned to, I guess, build a house on it one day because the permits were already pulled. They had already done testing for a well in the past, but they didn't do anything with it. And the parents who had originally purchased the land back in the 60s, they had since passed away, and it had been inherited by the 3 kids of that family. And those 3 kids no longer wanted it. None of them lived in the area anymore. Some of them lived on the West Coast, some of them lived up north. So they were just trying to get rid of it. So we talked about it a little bit more on our walk, and when it was time to go home, we drove back to the plot of land, got out again. This time I got out too, and it was at that point that we met a neighbor. So the road that we now live on is a private road. It is not maintained by the state, it is not maintained by the county, it is only maintained by the residents. So we did pass some signs that said private property, private road, guests and residents only. So we were kind of breaking some rules by being down there, but we were seeing that specific plot of land that was for sale. There was a sign up at the end of the road. We felt that it was okay. So one of the neighbors, they were doing some road maintenance because it is the residents' responsibility to take care of the road, came over and said, "Hey, can I help you? Are you lost?" We introduced ourselves. We said we were interested in this plot of land, and that neighbor knew the whole history of the land. He is one of the original residents here, way back here, and gave us kind of the 411 and said, "Hey, you know, if you're interested in it, you guys seem like a nice family. We'd welcome you with open arms. You know, just know that this is a private land. This is a private road. Everybody keeps to themselves, and you know that this is not an HOA." Da 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 da. All things that we were looking for. We did not ever want to live in an HOA. We did not ever want to have neighbors that are concerned about what we're doing on our property. And we, after driving back here and realizing that everybody is kind of living a very quiet lifestyle, there's quite a few homesteads back here as well. People raising their own meat, raising their own vegetables, just living off of their own property. That was something we were very interested in. Obviously, we aren't like full gun-ho homesteaders, but I have always had a garden. We have chickens now. We just want to keep to ourselves and have a very peaceful, quiet life in the woods. Okay, so now that my serum has fully absorbed into my skin, I'm going to go in with my custom moisturizer from Prose, and this has red algae and another ingredient called agastache, I think, and it helps to moisturize and firm, which I really like this moisturizer because it's very light, but also gives me the exact amount of moisture I need, because sometimes my skin can get a little bit oily, and I don't like products that feel very heavy on the skin. So I'm going to massage this in lightly, and before it fully absorbs into my skin, I really like to go in with a gua sha, because after I turned like 29, I just started noticing I get puffiness in the morning, and the gua sha really helps to alleviate some of that puffiness. So I don't do anything crazy. I just go up 5 times, and then under my eye I do this 5 times, and then my cheeks 5 times, and then my chin line 5 times, and then my neck. And then I just go in a little bit on my chin line once again. And these lines that I have on my neck, they are genetic. I have always had them since I was about 10, 12, 13 years old. Always had them. They're genetic. They are completely normal. I know some people have been starting to get like self-conscious about them, and they think that they're called tech neck lines, but no, I have had these my whole life. Okay, so now that that is done, so I did the cleanser in the shower, I did the serum, and now I did the moisturizer. And let me tell you a little bit about the cleanser too. So the cleanser is a custom cleanser, and it has amino acids, caviar lime. I think I already said that, not that I'm saying caviar lime. So I did that in the shower, serum, moisturizer. So let me tell you a little bit about Prose. So Prose is a custom skincare. You might know them for their custom hair care line, but they now have a skincare line. They have about 15 million possible formula combinations, and they are all clinically tested and shown to be effective in as little as 4 weeks. So what you do is you go online and you take this really extensive survey. It's gonna ask you everything about your skin, your lifestyle, a bunch of stuff, and it's gonna spit back out at you a product recommendation list that you can then choose to buy. Prose really takes the guesswork out of skincare. When you choose to use Prose, you're not Googling or trying to get product reviews or recommendations from other people and try to gather all this information, Prose does all of that for you. So Prose is hyper custom, and when you have something that is hyper custom, it works amazing. As a former esthetician, I am really impressed with some of the ingredients in Prose. I love that everything is just a clean slate. It works really well under my makeup, and I just feel fresh all day long. So click the link down in the description below to get started on your own skincare journey. Okay, so now that my base is all done, thank you, Prose, let's continue with this story of us building our house. So yeah, after meeting with the neighbor, talking with our real estate agent, we decided to go ahead and move forward just to see what would happen and see where the wind would take us. We also spoke about this idea with my parents. Now, my parents are nearing retirement age, and with the economy the way it is, and just with, you know, life in general, we kind of really want to be close together. Like I said before, we just want to live a quiet life in the woods. So we talked about it with my mom and dad, and we said, hey, if we were to build something, if we were to do something, would you want to live with us one day if we built like a apartment for you on the property? And my parents said yes, we would absolutely love to do that. And my parents gave us a gift that allowed us to get started with this project. It was a monetary gift just to help us out a little bit so that we could have some security with starting a project like this. So we purchased the land, and we had no intention of building right away. We were going to sit on the land and just use it recreationally, like with campfires, camping, you know, that sort of stuff. But in the spring of 2023, after we had closed on purchasing the land, there was an accident right by our old house. So at the time, like last week, we were living on a very main road. It was a well-traveled road. It is a road that is recommended by motorists who, like, you know, hobby motorists who like to drive in, you know, their sports cars or their classic cars or even their motorcycles. It was a very scenic road. I loved that road. It was beautiful, but it was highly traveled. And one night I had just finished putting Gabriel down for bed. It was dark out. We heard this horrific crash, and my parents were visiting at the time. So Gabriel was asleep, thank goodness. I would have been terrified. You can hear him in the background maybe. And I looked out the window and I just saw red lights. So I looked out the window, and Jack looked out the window too. So I saw red lights and I saw headlights, and the headlights were not facing the correct way on the road at all. So I turned to Jack, I said, I think somebody got into a car accident. So we went out to check, and it was our neighbor. She was coming home, a neighbor that lived around the corner from us, and she was coming home, and as she was cresting a hill and then to make a right turn onto her street, another car was coming, and they just swerved off the road and hit her on the side. Like, they should have passed like this, but for some reason he hit her like this. And there was another car behind the car that hit our neighbor, who had already been on 911 calling, saying that there was a driver driving erratically and swerving and almost falling off the road. And then the accident happened. So 911, police, they were already on their way, because clearly this was somebody, it was an inebriated driver. So that car that hit our neighbor was off in the woods, and it was a drunk driver. The police came, took care of everything. Our neighbor was, fortunately, that got hit, she was okay. She just went to the hospital just to get checked out, just to make sure that she was cleared for work and all. But it was very scary, because had that accident happened within like a few feet sooner, they would have hit our cars, our fence, our property. So it was after that experience that we started talking seriously about getting off that road. So shortly after that, we started talking with my parents more. They were giving us advice. We started asking around more, and we started interviewing builders. So we didn't know exactly when we wanted to start building. We were just putting feelers out to see what the process was like, because we didn't want to jump into anything and be stuck, if you know what I mean. So eventually, after making a few mistakes, we had purchased house plans from Architectural Designs, and we submitted that to a few builders, and they came back with saying that a custom house plan like that would cost over $1 million to build, which we don't have that kind of money, which that was very disappointing because the house plan was beautiful, and when we like put in all the information on our architecturaldesigns.com, they said, oh yeah, you could build this for $400,000. But then when you actually sit down with a builder to talk about it, yeah, it was over $1 million. So then we started interviewing builders that had their own house plans and knew exactly how much those house plans would cost to build. And we met a very nice builder. You know, my husband took the lead with all of this because I just did not want to be bothered. Like, that sounds bad, like it's our house, I should be involved, but at the same time, the nitty gritty back end office stuff with number crunching and all that stuff, I know I'm not good at that, and my husband is very good at that. So he took care of all that, interviewing all the builders, and then just coming back with a presentation to me of his findings. And yeah, after that, I would say, yeah, I like this guy. So we met a very nice builder. We kind of really clicked with him and his philosophy about building, and the fact that he has experience building houses in the county that we live in, because we live in Maryland and we live in a county that has a lot of water, a lot of watershed. You have to be very careful with the environment. Sometimes building can be kind of complicated. So we were very impressed with this builder's portfolio. We fell in love with a house plan. They allowed us to make some adjustments, and then yeah, we got the ball rolling. So some people have asked, like, you know, what do the finances look like? And I'm not gonna get into the nitty gritty, you know, because that's kind of personal for us, but we utilize something called a bridge loan. Now, there are two ways you can build a house with a construction, or to construct a house with the bank, and it is either a construction loan or a bridge loan. Now, construction loans are the most popular choice, but you do have to put a significant amount of money down, and a lot of people, when they do that, they end up having to sell the house that they're currently living in, and they either move in with family or they rent, and that was not something that we were willing to do because we have a dog, we have a toddler, we had chickens. So we found out about a bridge loan, and bridge loans aren't that popular because they usually are like a couple percentage points of interest higher than a construction loan, but with the economy the way it was at the time, it was like only a 0.5% difference. So we decided to go with the bridge loan. So what that did was bundle in our mortgage of our old house into the construction loan and use our old house as kind of the down payment for the new house. So yeah, everything was just a smooth, seamless process. Everybody at our builder's office was great. Everybody at the permitting office here in the county was absolutely amazing. Going to pick out everything for the house was easy because I know what I like. I don't need to think too hard about it. So I always joke with my husband, because me and my husband, we are the type of people that we know what we want. We already did the research ahead of time. When we go in to make a purchase, it's because we're there to make a purchase. Salespeople don't need to talk to us. They don't need to hype us up. They don't need to like try and sell us. We go in and we're like, yep, we already read about all this online. We already have been looking at this online. We already did all the research. We're just here to buy it now. You don't need to hype us up. So yeah, so while the whole building process was going on, I was on Pinterest. I was watching, you know, Chip and Joanna Gaines and, you know, HGTV, all this other stuff. And I was talking to other people. Why can't I get this open? I was talking to other people, and definitely on Pinterest a lot. So a lot of my inspiration for decorating this house came from Pinterest. I wanted to get away from the millennial gray that my old house was, because that house was our starter house, and when I originally painted and decorated, I knew that we were going to eventually sell that house, and I didn't want to make it unnecessarily complicated to have to like take down a bunch of stuff or repaint, because we chose crazy colors or crazy decor. But in this house that we are staying in forever and ever and ever, we're gonna go crazy with color. So yeah, that's how we got to this point. I am now going to blow dry my hair, or diffuse my hair. I always do that transition. All right, so I'm just gonna take some of this hair, pull it over there, take some of this, pull it back like that. It's kind of been like my signature style lately. I've been really loving using hair combs to like pin my hair back. It's very secure. And then last but not least, give her a good spray. And voila. And now I am ready for the day. Special thank you to Prose for sponsoring this video. Please check them out in the description down below. And I thank you guys for listening to my story, getting ready with me for the day. I hope you guys have a beautiful day, a beautiful week, a beautiful month, a beautiful year. And please don't forget to like and subscribe. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.